I'm here live, PAX Australia 2015. It's been a sick run. And as you guys know, I spent this weekend working with the guys at Surprise Attack on the absolutely awesome Australian qualifiers. Now, when we started this show, So You Think You Can Cast, the whole point was to find someone in the community or find multiple people who could help us fill spots in community tournaments and things like Xbox. And we're really just looking for new blood. And when we wanted to get into this, we didn't know how we wanted to approach letting people in from Australia. When we decided we would select one person, we wanted to make sure it was the most known, despite the fact that he might have been a little bit more skilled than the rest of the field. With that, we took Husey. Now, at the beginning, we had to put a few stipulations in for ourselves to make sure that Husey didn't blow away the competition completely and kind of destroy the competition. Unfortunately, me and Hinduman didn't put enough into place, and he did it anyway. As a result, the competition for the Australian ends here. We have decided, both Hinduman and I, after watching the footage from this weekend, that Husey is going to go to Worlds. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing excellently, DM. Thank you very much for everyone for this opportunity, especially everyone there at hi-rez. This has been incredible, crazy 7 weeks and whole 12 months in general. It's amazing. I can't wait to see you all at Worlds.
Now, obviously, we still have Goremiser and Fats. They've done incredibly, guys. Like, from the bottom of my heart, we really think that you guys have earned your spot in the finals. And it's a shame we had to give the one spot away to Husey. But thankfully, hi-rez is the coolest company like ever. And as a result, we get to actually bring 2 people to Worlds. So the continuation of the, I guess the final 2 will be Fats and Goremiser alone, with the winner still going to the Smite World Championships to join Husey to work with us on the production of the Smite World Championships in 2016. Good luck, boys.
Good morning and welcome to the studio once again. We're here with the pre-game show, but we're also joined by, obviously, dmbrandon, myself, Fats, and the other finalist, Goremiser. As you saw there, Hughes made it through to the World Championships. We're going to be taking him over there, so that should be a good time for him. But it doesn't mean these 2 don't get to go, DM.
That's right. We actually got a little bit more funding than I guess we were supposed to, so we're allowed to have 2 people come to Worlds. So the competition continues for both of you, even though Husey is just like, oh my God. God bless.
The way it's going to work between the last 2 here, what we're going to be looking at doing is we're going to be looking at having the fans vote once again. So the voting lines have just opened up right now for you guys at home to get involved. esports.smitegame.com. Vote for Fats or Goremiser for your vote. However, there's going to be additional... that's me, I'm a biased person. And we're also going to have 4 members of hi-rez also vote from different departments.
Right, so how this is going to work is we've created somewhat of a caveat to make sure that the fan vote is not the only factor. We've gotten a list of panelists. That way we have 5 total points that a person can earn. The fan vote win is counting as 1 point, and then we have 4 professionals from the industry to make sure they're voting as well, so that we get the best contestant.
So these guys obviously this weekend have been working, well this week, not this weekend, have been working with us consistently, and then obviously all the other departments and people who are going to be voting have had a chance to see them in action in and around. I'm going to go to you first, Fats. How's your week been?
I'm at Super Regionals.
You are?
That's great as is. I mean, I'm lucky to make it this far in the competition, and I'm lucky enough to sit next to you, Hinduman. Oh my God.
Oh, he's so cute. Goremiser, yourself, I mean, it's been a wild ride for you.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Like, I like being here, seeing the behind the scenes, seeing how everything's set up, and getting to sit at the desk was really awesome.
It's been a great opportunity for both of you. DM, thoughts on these 2 so far in the competition?
I mean, I think it was pretty obvious how it was going to go once we got through the prelims. I think everything up until this point seemed almost predestined. Fats, of course, cheating and getting all the way here through fan votes.
Rigged.
Hashtag. In fact, no, cool cats. We need cool cats in the chat.
No cool
It's hashtag rigged or cool cats. You can do either one right now.
And so that's Fats.
Viewer's choice.
And Goremiser, for me personally, at least from my point of view, it's a surprise, not necessarily underdog, I want to say, against some of the other competition, DM.
He should have been DQ'd.
Yeah.
How come? Explain to the fans at home so they know what went on.
We sent out a initial email saying,
We
like,
did.
hey, guys, you guys win the initial call. You guys are going to be on the show. We're cutting this down, blah, 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 whatever. And at the bottom it said, under no circumstances are you to reveal this until after we have announced everyone or you risk disqualification. And the first thing Goremiser does is he goes on Twitter. He's like, yo, what up now?
In my defense, I was just thinking, Hinduman sent me a message, and I'm like, why else would Hinduman be sending me a message? Like, I didn't do anything at hi-rez at least that I know of, other than the so you think you can cast thing. So
Should have at least read the message.
well, it was a link, and I was at dinner, so I was like, hey, Hinduman sent me a message, and then I got one that just said, delete that right now. I'm like, okay, I'm done. It's gone.
Because behind the scenes, DM was like, get rid of him now. He should be gone for not listening to instructions. But I gave him another shot.
Yeah,
You did
yeah.
not want to.
I did not.
Scumbag.
But I guess it worked out. I mean, I think the big thing for me was when you were one of the, I think, like, last people we let in. It was like 15 people left, and we cut that down to 12, and, like,
Yep.
you were the 12th. And it was like, he's not even paying attention. This person barely made it in, but
And some of the ones that we got through so early, we saw them go out so quick in the competition as well.
people that we had a lot of faith in, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really surprised by that, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. But still, voting is available right now for you guys to go over. I'll just repeat one more time, esports.smitegame.com. Head there and get your vote in for who you want to win this. Obviously, you guys do have an influence in this one, so Goremiser or Fats. And obviously, the winner will go to the World Championships and work with us in a capacity there. But you guys at home can also come along too. Don't forget, tickets are still on sale for the Smite World Championships. There's going to be 10 teams there from 5 different regions.
I mean, you don't want to miss this. Like, plain
No.
and simple. Everyone there last year was, like, straight up beside themselves. I just don't... I don't see how, if you are a Smite fan, how you wouldn't make this trip.
And even if you don't get to come for like the whole experience, come for a day or two, you get to experience everybody else because everyone's interested. You get to hang out with the pros who, even if they don't make it, they'll still turn up. And even if they do make it, well, they're still going to have a chance to hang out with you all. You saw that last year, right?
No, what happened
Turn
was
up?
you said turn up. And
Turn
yeah,
up. Turn up.
predictable.
He said it, man. I can't not be excited about that.
So that's enough anyway of the stuff to do with something you can cast. We're here still for the wildcard matchups. And today we're going to have 3 best of 3s to work out which region's going to get that final spot to the World Championships from Europe and NA. And we're going to kick things off in NADM.
That's right. Eager and Envious, probably the 2 most popular teams in North America, the teams probably with the biggest followings. One of them is not even going to make it into the contention for the wild card itself. Like, as of this morning, we're going to lose one of these teams.
And
which is
both these
heartbreaking.
2 teams as well, when you think about it, both missed out last year, and they've put a lot of effort in this year to try and make it again, and they still find themselves on the cusp of elimination.
And it's crazy because it was like, Cog Red, Cog Prime were the people that knocked these teams out last year. And now this year, Envious managed to form this bracket that ensured that they were going to have somewhat similar, but they'd have different opponents. They'd have an easier route. And then Enemy comes out of nowhere, defeating both TSM, 3rd place from Worlds last year, and Envious, the top contender coming into this LAN.
Really good opportunity there for Enemy, though, just to step in and step it up at LAN Goremiser. How difficult must that be?
I mean, everyone, they wouldn't even be here if the Super Regionals hadn't been expanded to the 6-slot teams.
Good point.
And now they're going to Worlds. It's really insane. They've been practicing really hard. They're trying to get in, and they're doing what we saw Titan do last year.
Well, Enemy made it there, and obviously we saw across the other way Cloud9 up against Eagerfats, and, well, that went as expected. It could have gone either way, and it really did. The whole game.
That was a very long night. I got to say that much. I've been going to Game 5, being here till 1:00 at night, and 2, then another 2, and it's like, whoa, they're coming back on us. What do we do? Oh, Cloud9 showed up to land.
Well,
Jeff Hinla, and I've told the story a few times, but I mean, I can't impress upon people enough about how much of a god Jeff Hinla is. They win 2 games, right? Cloud9 wins 2 games, and then they lose 2 games. And at this point, I'm in the media room with some of the guys from TSM and some people coming over from Europe, and I'm like, I gotta go watch the 5th game in the studio. Like, I gotta go watch it. So I leave the media room, and I'm coming in right as the game is ending, and Jeff walks off the stage after losing 2 games in a row, looks me dead in the eyes with a smile and just says, "One more, baby," and just slaps me on the shoulder and walks away. I'm just like, how?
to be fair, Ataraxia, the whole way through when he was casting that with us, he turned around and went, don't count Cloud9 out. Even though they went 2-0 in a row where they went down, it was like, don't count Cloud9 out. They've done it before, and they did it to Titan.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
Did the same thing. Is that just Cloud9's play style
Best
then?
of
DM?
ones.
Is that all they do?
It's not a best of 5. It's best of ones. You win 1 game at a time.
So let's break down these teams even further, because now we're going to be seeing, obviously, Eager up against Envy. Envy DM, not the greatest performance so far this LAN. Went 0-3 against Enemy. That was a surprise.
They had a strange split Ever since they've changed sponsors, it feels like they haven't been playing as themselves. They try to role swap to wake things up, and honestly, I think that there is a lot of potential in this new roster. Most people see it and think that it's a weaker roster, but I definitely disagree. Kiki's support play has been incredible. Incon has had a few points of weakness, I would say, with how he's engaging in team fights. I think he thinks, even as Zhang Kui, he's tankier than he actually is. But so far, I think this is a stronger roster. What people aren't seeing is that it's not Envy getting weaker, it's the rest of North America getting better.
I guess let's talk about the role swap a little bit more. Fast, you've seen this role swap yourself. How do you feel about it? Do you feel the same as DM?
It was the first time I saw it, and when it happened, when they got on stage, I was like,
Wait a minute.
what is Incon doing? This isn't a ranked match. He's not against DM getting free elo. What's going on here?
Please.
Shot.
That wasn't even a shot. It wasn't even a shot. It was just true.
Facts.
I hate Incon.
It was crazy because I've never heard of this before until it happened on stage. Usually you would get a little bit of a heads up from people talking and all that, and maybe I wasn't paying attention because I mean, hey, but it shocked me.
It was kept pretty quiet, between, the boys of Envy. One or two teams knew about it, but not many.
It certainly was not kept quiet.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of people didn't know. Did you know about it going into it, Goremiser, yourself?
I knew about it like the day before they played because I heard Incon talking about it, but that's the earliest I got it. I mean, I've seen him play
Nobody
mid
talks
on
to
his
me.
stream.
Now, was it?
Pain Devion knew.
So he knew as well.
Yeah,
going into
I
it.
was. Adonis was saying
Can imagine.
Pain came on to the set like the day before and said something like, "Is it true they actually role swapped?" And Kevin didn't know at that point, or Adonis
Yeah.
didn't know, and Adonis is like, "What do you mean?"
So, was that the reason they lost? Do you
No,
feel that was the reason? What was the reason Envy didn't look as good as they should have done? They beat Enemy all season. What was the difference? Go Fats, if you
Vicium
know.
and adjust.
Fats said,
I
looks like he
mean,
wants to say something.
Enemy showed up.
Yeah.
Is that all it is?
That's legitimately what happened. No one
That's true.
expected.
No, it's true.
Most people I know expected Envy to take it 3-1 at best, and they didn't. Enemy showed up to land. Enemy's performance in SPL wasn't as strong. Like Goremiser pointed out, they weren't even going to show up until we extended it to 6 teams, and then they bodied.
You saying we already?
We?
Look at this
He's
guy.
already thinks he's got the job.
Mike.
What job?
The fans ain't,
I'm just a
fans
like,
ain't even involved.
I'm just a guy.
Talk about Enemy some more. Vicium. One of these players, these hunters, that, let's be honest, a lot of people in the NA scene respect. However, the fans at home don't really recognize him that much. DM, talk me about him.
Vicium went from ranked troll to pro player very, very quickly. And I think a way that Pain Devion maybe didn't even expect. At the beginning of the season, I do believe that Pain Devion thought that this roster had more potential, but I don't think he thought it had the potential that it clearly has. And a large part of that is Vicium. And I don't think by any stretch of the imagination that Vicium went into that game and played infinitely better than Allied. He got just a few choice shots, these random spirit arrows to hit 2 people, or these really good ults. The communication is what I think was the most impressive thing, considering this is such a new roster.
Let's bring it back then all the way, because you mentioned Allied, and that's what we're talking about today. Allied in the Hunter role. His matchup against Vicium. How was his performance against Vicium in this match?
I think it was fine. Honestly, I think the way that Allied played was pretty normal. Most of the faults, I think, wound up in the teamfight communication overall. And I think that the draft that Enemy had wound up being better. You see Allied had some really good rushdown plays.
Well, this was Sol, again, and that's another talking point for the whole competition, is Sol has been picked a lot for the Hunter role. The Hunters have looked limited on him. For the most part.
For me, I think I agree 100%. I think Sol has definitely been overrated throughout the weekend. But Allied is the one hunter I think that really makes this character shine more than others, specifically because this is his play style. He's not the kind of hunter that likes to hit the gas pedal and run you down. He's the kind of hunter that picks one person off just easily, one at a time, without putting himself in danger.
But he's a very late game character as well, is Allied Goremiser. He relies on the rest of his team to get the work in first, and then he turns up to these team fights. Are we expecting to see something different against Zapman in lane?
Well, Zapman and Polar Bear Mike, especially, they kind of run very aggressively in the lane. Zapman definitely trying to get the aggression down. And Allied seems to be more farm-oriented, like, let's just get me to late game, and then once I'm in late game, let's just start doing all of the damage to everybody that we can see.
Well, talk about Zapman, you can see some of his action on the screen here. This was earlier on against Cloud9, where there was a lot of rotations coming out of him very quickly, Fats, and that's quite surprising that he shows that he was really here to fight the whole time.
I mean, we all know Zapman to be one of the most aggressive hunters in NA, always known to be diving towers whenever he can and hoping that Polar Bear Mike is there to pull him out of it. I mean, we saw that in the matchup not yesterday, 2 days ago against Cloud9, and as you see right now, I mean, going straight in with Shibalanka against that Rising Jaguar. He's doing a lot of teamfight presence and a lot of damage because Branching Bolas, on an aggressive character, is hitting everybody.
And let's talk about Eager here, DM, because like this is Zap Man. They had a great game against Cloud9, but they still lost. What was the issue? Was it Zap?
I don't think it was Zap at all. I mean, it just comes down to you're playing a 5-hour set. Mental fatigue kicks in. It was past midnight at that point. And it's not like Eager got dominated by any stretch of the imagination. It was just like Cloud9 played a little bit better in Game 5. It's going to happen. I think what happened was Cloud9 had a better strategy going in. And I think that comes down to another character I think is very overrated this weekend, and that's Zhong Kui.
Go call for the mid lane, Zhong Kui. Why do you feel he's so underrated then?
I mean,
overrated. Not underrated.
I mean,
my bad.
People are favoring him very heavily, and he's doing a lot, but I don't think people are recognizing the fact that Shell exists. If you pop Shell during that ultimate, which is what a lot of teams started doing, which is why you've seen a decline in his ability to win games, he just doesn't do anything. And aside from Book of Demons in the card, I mean, he has a few points of CC, but he's not an unstoppable killing machine like he used to be. People are recognizing how to beat him, and I think a lot of the key to that is just straight up damage reduction.
Now, Guardians are the ones that are picking up that Shell as well. Let's talk about both of those right now. Kiki, so cheeky, moving, at least in that game. I don't know if he's going to be there again today. We'll find out. But Kiki, switching to the support role. Fats, how did you feel his performance was for Envy?
For my first time seeing him perform, he did actually really well. I mean, I enjoyed watching his Geb. He had a lot of good shields going on to keep his team alive. His rotations were pretty well. I mean, he's had to learn from Incon, who is known as one of the better Guardians in the scene. He must have given him some tips because he had the good rotations. He made sure that he kept Allied alive whenever he could. And it just seemed like during those team fights, as Brandon pointed out, they just didn't have the communication to make sure they had the correct rotations and the correct person to focus on.
It looked, though, as well, that Kiki was on fire there, Goremiser. He looked like comfortable in the role. He wasn't uncomfortable. His God pull seemed very, very strong as well, but it didn't work out.
Yeah, we actually I was talking to them earlier about his God pool, and said there's only one woman in the Guardian role.
That's a good point.
It's Athena. How does he know how can he play all these other gods? But
Geb's a rock.
Yeah, Geb's a rock.
Geb's a rock, so I guess, yeah.
He's got a male voice, though.
Kepri's a bug.
That's true.
So, I mean,
You used to say Kepri was a she.
I thought, well, I was playing, in playtests here, and it was before the voice pack came in. Kepri, and it's a giant gold beetle. Like, I figured that was going to be female, and gender biased DM.
Now let's continue with Envy a little bit more then. Let's talk about Weekend in the jungle role, because a lot of people give him a lot of stick. Let's be honest. They give him a lot of stick.
I'm going to catch some heat here. Weekend's been playing like a god. But a lot of what's happened, like that, for instance, has been pretty lucky. I mean, he's hitting the ults. It's opportunistic, not lucky. I mean, what's happening is they're lining up in corridors for him to 3-man ult them with Mercury, or, I mean, that one Circuit punch. Like, God bless.
And it wasn't even a crit, just to clear that up, because everybody believed it was
not a crit.
Even I believed it was a crit.
It would have popped up on the screen if it was a crit. That was Mercury's passive kicking in. But look at these plays. Like, he's just recognizing, and he's not being the normal Weekend that's super over-aggressive. He's being the Weekend that's poking, disorienting people, trying to spread the team fight out, and he's making sure that they just can't be in the right position. By the way, that is the second time in a row that we showed a clip of him throwing someone directly in that position. He knows the area he wants to hit.
And the Mercury as well, Fats. I mean, it's not really a surprise he's starting to rise back up, but were you expecting such a performance at the Super Regionals with Mercury?
I did not expect Mercury to be such a top pick, nor did I expect Weekend to start picking Mercury. I've known Weekend to play Circuit and Thor, and
well, he's still a top assassin, I guess.
Weekend's not getting Circuit.
He's not going to get that one.
That's not going to happen.
His shirts that he sells have scorpions on them.
Well, here's a question to you, Goremiser. With how this going between Envy right now, and we've seen Weekend playing a lot of assassins just lately. He used to play sort of a supportive role to get Cyclone big. Meta seems to have changed, though, and it's not working out. Do we see him stick to these assassins, considering it didn't work out last time?
I kind of hope he does, because as we've seen, like the Thor in Game 1 when they were playing up against Enemy was kind of shaky, but he switched over to Mercury and was just rolling through them. But when we saw him running things like Kepri jungle and Odin in the jungle, he just wasn't doing the damage that his team really needed from their jungler. And the support was nice, but they had Incon for that, and now Kiki's going to be filling.
Want to see him more on assassins and
more
continue
assassins.
Talk about more about assassins as well. We do have across the way for Eager here, Dare to Kevin.
There's not going to be any support play out of Dare.
He's all assassin. Well, he's played a little bit of Athena now and again, but mainly assassins.
I don't think we're going to... I wonder if Dare to Care is going to veer away from the Nasha. I mean, they were scrim partners for so long. This was so great.
Yeah, it was very
the
smart.
follow, like, he would not let him go, man.
He was just all in hands with that one. But do you expect he's going to move away from the Naja? That's a good talking point, because Naja was very prominent for him throughout the season, and it's been prominent here as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to try to look to other characters today. I think that he's been playing so much Nasha against Envy for so long that I think he realizes that he's probably going to be caught in terms of, like, rotations and such. They're going to know his play style. I'm expecting, things like Thor, things with a little bit more CC.
Do you feel any of the games they lost, Fats, against Cloud9 were down to Dare to Care, or did he just seem to have a consistent tournament so far?
He's been doing amazing. He's making the rotations. He's getting the correct calls in. His Thor play, as we saw right there, sticking to the Gannis and that Whirlpool. It was just overall making sure he got the target that he was looking for and make sure he's able to follow up on anything that his team was calling. But I don't blame him for their loss.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the reason for them to be in this third place match. It was just the team as a whole didn't get to the same level that Cloud9 did.
Dare to Care is in the same spot that Raffer was in last year, where Raffer has the best first 12 minutes of the game. Every game guaranteed, there's no stopping him.
He's stuck.
And then after 12 minutes, it's just like he keeps trying to be an assassin, and people have health pools now, and it doesn't work anymore. It's, the Thors and the Thanatos we saw from Raffer last year. It's the same thing happening to Dare. He has to transition better into the end game, and if he can do that, I think this is a clean win for Eager.
Well, one more matchup to talk about that's really big for me personally is the solo lane between Omega and Cyclone Spin. These two have been backwards and forwards, and a lot of people, well, not big solo lane, well, I'm big, but I'm not the solo lane, I'm the support. Wow. But the big key overall for me is that these two have been talked about for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And at the moment, for me, it feels Omega's the one stepping up. Cyclone seems to have drifted. What's going on, DM?
I mean, he's super
Has
young.
he drifted? Has he drifted?
I mean, I'm looking at Omega here. I mean, actually, this is the issue.
This is the start of
My man thinks he's safe. He's Red Pot Odin. Like, this wasn't even from LAN. Like, we're showing this clip because I think this is the most relevant clip. This is Manny Pacquiao getting punched in the chin, right? Because,
and he went down.
No, yeah, exactly. When Manny
it's
Pacquiao...
like the opposite of what Mayweather did.
Suffered his first knockout against Marquez, however many years ago. He wasn't able to fight anymore in the same way. His confidence was lost. He wasn't able to focus the same way. And I think since Cyclone got hit by that first blood, he has been a different player. Whereas Omega, since he got that hit, has been the player we knew he could be.
But he's been that player for Cloud9 before as well, Goremiser Omega. And it just looks like with this transition to Eager, he's looking like revitalized almost with this transition.
Yeah, absolutely. And, even over the last year, like before he switched over to Eager, just whenever he's in that lane, he has this aura about him that people just can't handle. Like, that's Omega. We have to play against Omega. And just watching him, like, he goes hard. Like, he doesn't give you a chance to second guess yourself.
He's a fun lad too. You can see that as well. Omega for you though, Faz. I mean, what do you do against him? Do you look to babysit and gank for him as a jungler? Like, should Dare be over there, or should you leave him 1v1?
You hope he doesn't spam taunt you first and foremost.
Right, mute.
Mute first of all.
As soon as you get the game,
mute the team.
The anti-Omega meta is mute.
Although, knowing Omega's playstyle, if he's standing there doing nothing, he's probably taunting you. You know it in your head anyway.
Now, Cyclone, let's go over to him again. Like, we saw a little clip of him. We were speaking about him a minute ago. Very quiet season. Towards the end, he's drifted off even at the LAN. I didn't feel like he stepped up. Honestly, DM, you.
There was a basketball player a few years back that had like the most amazing week of basketball histories, and I'm pretty sure his name was Jeremy Lin, and I say that I think his name was Jeremy Lin because I don't remember, right? And that's kind of what's happening is Cyclone had like the best 3 months of Smite ever played until adapting, right? And then since then we haven't really heard his name be yelled.
Is it because has he really dropped off though? Because we're watching him in the team fights here, and he's still doing what he does. Is it because other solo laners are stepping in to do the same thing?
Yes, I think like what's happened is Cyclone was the best player, and he beat people so badly that their choices were adapt or die, and a lot of them chose adapt. And since then, Cyclone's now playing it at their level instead of far, far above the way it used to be. I remember during the spring finals after they defeated, the summer finals after they defeated Cloud9, all of C9 were like, Envy is just not good without this dude. This dude is carrying them. And now that he's not, dominating every single lane phase for every single game, Envy's not winning as much. Maybe C9 was right.
Goremiser, for you, Cyclone, is he now average or what's the difference?
We used to see a lot of like counterplay. Like he'd choose unusual solo laners, and I feel like that kind of gave him a leg up because people are like, I've never played this matchup before. How am I supposed to handle this? And slowly but surely, he's been transitioning into the more common, like you'll see him play Bologna a lot, and I feel like people are more comfortable with that. So I'm not sure if it's necessarily him going back down, as much as people are more familiar with the matchup and can say, hey, I know how to handle this one. Like, bludgeon? Okay, I'll take it.
Now let's go into the little bit of picks and bans here to do with how the game's going to go, DM. Because for me, what it felt like with Eager is they went down 2-0 against Cloud9. And then going against... So they went 0-2 against Cloud9, but then they came back after realizing picks and bans. Eager seemed to be able to adapt if they lose a game. Do you feel Envy can do the same? Because it didn't look like it when they played.
I do. I think both teams actually have really great adaptation, and they've proven that in the past. But I need to abstain my opinion from this one, as I have seen both Eager and Envy scrims this week. The only thing I can speculate is that I think Dare will go away from Nasha. I'm not saying that I have or have not seen that. I just think that he's going to make that choice. Anything else, I think, is a biased comment, and I don't want to give strats away for either team.
Personal opinions then aside, facts for you. What's up, just your personal opinion, actually, not personal opinions aside. That'd be a bit weird. Where do you think all you do is have personal opinions? Where do you think this will go, and what's the scoreline?
It's a best of 3.
Oh my God, it's a best of 3.
It's a best of 3. This is.
Did you guys forget?
More on the line.
I forgot.
It's even harder now.
Yep.
Best of 3 between 2 of NA's favorite kids.
Stop stalling. Just say it.
And I have conflicted emotions right now, man. 2-1 Envy?
Yeah, and now Eager's going to hate you. Goremiser, what about you?
See?
Where are you going?
I'm going 2-1 Eager. I think
Envy
is
hates
going
you.
to be strong and able to get at least one game, but so far Eager has just seemed stronger. I mean, we saw him go up against Cloud9, and it was a really challenging competition for him.
So there you go. Eager's going to hate you. Envy's going to hate you. We're not going to ask you because everybody hates you anyway. It's all good. But it's now time for us to move on and get ourselves ready for the first game of the day. Envy up against Eager. But before that, quick little look at Netflix and chill, marry or kill. I think it's one of those things. I think sure I die all the time. See you later.
What?
Me and DM are going to get married.
He seemed like a good housewife, so I guess Mary.
Netflix and chill. He's a good-looking guy.
It's probably a kill. Kill Brandon. Netflix and chill.
Yeah, I'll probably Netflix and chill. dmbrandon all day.
Netflix and chill.
Also definitely marry.
Hinduman I'd also marry. I'd marry a lot of people.
And Netflix and chill with Hinduman.
Gotta kill him.
I'd kill Hinduman.
Yeah, you can go kill him. Well, I would probably marry Bart because he's kind of like the smite, I don't know, tycoon or what you will. So he would probably make that sweet dollar so I can live off of that.
I'd marry hi-rez bot.
We're also going to get married.
After Kelly kind of outs them onto all the clothes on the floor and stuff, I don't think I really want to marry him, so we'll go with Netflix and chill. I don't know, dude, I definitely Netflix and chill with Dan. We have a special bond.
Dan is also Mary. All these guys at hi-rez are just really nice people that I'd love to, spend my life with.
Mary.
Dan. I think I would kill Dan.
Dan. Oh, definitely Netflix and chill. It's Dan. Dan the man.
APC, Netflix and chill.
Can I marry him and live forever? I would like to marry APC and live forever.
Netflix and chill.
So marry and Netflix and chill.
I'd probably kill him as well because he has such a big workload. Like it seems a bit misery.